All right, I want to show a video. I'm not going to be able to play any of the sound in the videos. You don't need to hear the sound anyway. But this is Emmanuel Macron. So this riot's been going on for 3 days now, but this is Emmanuel Macron at a concert. And he's clearly having a good time with his missus at the concert, and everybody's entitled to go and have a good time. And he was at an Elton John concert there. But while the country is burning to the ground and there's all sorts of chaos going on, he's out there having a good time. And that says to me that, it's all right, the cops have got it under control. The people there in charge, it's my evening off. I'll let them deal with it. I'll do that. But without maybe realising the severity of the situation or realising what's going on. So I'm going to play some footage for you here, folks. This is just kind of a montage of what's been going on. This is the first day of the riots here, and the coppers coming out. They're all tooled up properly in their riot gear. I reckon they're sort of 2 steps back from everything that they have, because not everybody has got a baton. A lot of them are there just in their equipment, but without anything in their hands. You notice only some of them have got shields and batons. Most of them are walking around with nothing. And here they are, tossing cars into the middle of the street, setting fire to everything like that. This is what I don't understand about the riots. Just creates complete and total chaos. This is day 1 of the riots, and there's nobody on the street either. That guy's a photographer. Now they're taking charge and destroying buildings. There's a couple of links on the screen that you can see there as well, folks. Make sure you head over to those people's Telegram channels and their Twitters and their Snapchats and all that sort of stuff, and have a look at the footage there, because there's more than just what I've got here on those channels. I just pulled a bit of footage out so people get a bit of a gist and a bit of an idea of what's really happening. But this is not a protest. This is on the scale of something that I don't think we've seen something like this in France before, have we, Ed? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, this has become a regular occurrence for years now.
But at this scale, though, like the destruction?
No, I suppose you're right, yeah.
We had the Yellow Jacket protest where they're protesting about austerity and raising the retirement age, but nothing like this.
Well, actually, we have. If you look back, I know people have short memories, but if you look back about 5 or 6 years ago, during the height of all these people, these immigrants coming from these different.
Oh, yes, there was quite a few. Yeah. They don't mind to protest, the French, eh? And it's not just the immigrants that are protesting here, the African and the Muslim immigrants. It's the French themselves that don't like that. That's what the Yellow Jacket protest was, when they were saying they were raising the retirement age and making that all happen because the government's completely useless.
Yeah,
so here's some footage of them driving a car into a shop.
Yeah, but those riots related to the pensions and high gas. Okay, that's just the people voicing their their displeasure at the insanity by the government. This is different. This is hatred. This is a cultural issue, in my opinion.
And that's why I say the disconnect from the president down is just stark. This has been simmering in their population. You point out policy of zero tolerance, and if you had a government that was in charge that just simply didn't tolerate this rubbish, this bullshit, you should be able to protest. You should be able to assemble and say, hey,
peacefully.
You shouldn't have done that. Peacefully, you should be able to do that. And then if you're going to behave like this, then we're going to find who you are and we're going to get rid of you. But here's the thing. The unspoken truth about it all is this whole thing is by design. This whole thing is meant to destabilize this country. All of this Ukrainian war, it's not about freedom. It's not about democracy. It's about destabilizing and destroying Russia. That's what it's meant for. And the Ukrainian people are the ones that are doing it for us, for everybody on our behalf. And they're paying the massive costs. There's 500,000 dead Ukrainians, for heaven's sake. And they're doing it because somebody in the West wants to destabilize Russia, Boris Johnson, who's no longer even the prime minister. It's all bullshit. What they're doing in Holland and in the Netherlands by saying all of these bullshit green policies that are destroying the farming community, that's all a deliberate ruse to take the farmland back from these people. This whole thing is deliberate. All of it's deliberate. This immigration, they always knew it was going to end up here. And the people in charge, the people behind the curtain are now cheering. They're cheering that this is actually happening.
Yeah. I mean, Macron in France, Ruddy in England, Rashida, or whatever his name is in London. These are all World Economic Forum young group members, right?
Yep.
This is,
So we've got a guy in the chat here. He says, well, I don't wish any country bad things, but France has ruined my continent, North Africa, meaning that is there. So I guess they can have a taste of what they did. and it's, and that's what we've just been saying, right? This whole thing's by design. It was always going to blow up, and it was always going to happen like this. The civil unrest was always there. So you got to ask yourself a question. Well, if this is happening, why is Emmanuel Macron at an Elton John concert? And I'm not criticizing the guy for having some downtime. What I'm doing is I'm saying that this is all part of the plan, and he knows the plan is happening. So he's like, yeah, well, I know that's happening. That was meant to happen. That's why I'm here at Elton John. What do I give a shit for? Somebody else is going to take charge of it. They're going to come for me for the decisions, and I'm just going to say no. And look at this guy. He's got like 2 years worth of toilet paper on his little forklift. That's your kind of looting and your kind of prepping right there. Yeah, I think he had 2 years worth of coffee there too as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a cheap way to prep. Yeah,
to steal it, to loot it, right? That's how you're prepping. When I look at this, I also think that, would I be out there protesting and getting involved in something like this if it was happening in my city? And you have to ask yourself these questions seriously in these times of civil unrest, because if you think it can't come to your town, it can. And like we talked about, it happened here in Australia. It happened in Sydney and Canberra and Victoria. It happened there with BLM, right where you live. It happened in Canada with the trucker protests. And if you think it can't happen in your city, it can. So you got to be ready for this stuff, man. You have to have one eye on the news, one ear on the news. So if something blows up in your city, imagine if you were one of those people that said, I don't watch the news, man. I just get somebody else to tell me what's going on. I don't pay any attention to that. And you worked in this city, or you lived in one of those apartments in the building here. So this is like the downtown area. It looks like a bunch of office buildings and whatnot. Imagine if you were a bus driver that worked at this bus depot and you didn't watch the news. And you just go to work in the morning and you're like, well, I can't go to work. I can't even get to work. Like, what the hell is going on? That's why you've got to pay attention to it. That's why. And it's a real deliberate thing that the government is allowing to happen to destabilize society more, to implement more rules. Because no doubt at some point, the French government's going to come out and say, this is an emergency, and we're going to enact emergency powers. And when we enact emergency powers, and when
will they though?
Well, I think, because we're going to declare an emergency and put the army on the streets to stop this once and for all. And when we do that, we're just going to take a little bit more of your rights away. Well, that's where I think this is going, right? They allow that to happen, to take it. There's always an emergency, man, and you have to give up a little bit more of your autonomy, a bit more. And all of a sudden, they've got all of your autonomy, man. If you don't check in there with that QR code, you can't come in here. But there's no COVID. What are you talking about? No, that's the riots, man. We want to know where everybody is at all times because we don't want this to happen again. So check in or get out. But this is a supermarket. I need to eat. Doesn't matter. Check in or get out. I'm not checking in. Fuck you. Bang. Okay, police, take you away. That's where the society's going, man. That's why they allow these things to happen. That's what I believe is the unspoken truth of it all.
Yep. Well, they will use any excuse to move that ball, right? Well, this is the way I think they're going to spin this current event. And mark my words on this one, guys, because I'm going to make another prediction. Yet another Ed Anderson prediction that will come true.
A stock market, a non-stock market prediction.
That's right. The way they're going to end up spinning this is we view this as an opportunity to reach out to those people who have been aggrieved, and we're going to address their issues. So this is an opportunity to bring the country together and make our country a more fruitful and peaceful society. And
wait. Let me fix the graphic. We're going to fix it. We're going to reach out for the opportunity for looting and destruction, and and make looting and destruction a more peaceful society. Which we're going to follow the American model and say that you can take $900 worth of stuff. And
there you go.
You do whatever you want.
There you go. See, problem solved.
Man, oh man.
You can continue to loot. Just keep it under $1,000, okay? And this stuff like so. These are the little stupid solutions that they're going to come up with, which of course they're not solutions. This is idiocy. It's pandering to the worst possible. The idea of taking my solution and deporting all these bad actors. They will never do that because, like you said, they have an agenda. This is part of the plan. Now, one thing people should do is at every possible election, take a look at that ballot and see, who does this guy? What kind of guy is this? If it's stop voting for your damn socialists, Europe. I mean, how much more do these people take?
Here's one more.